going to be doing a review. I've fallen out of this 3 times. The one time I don't, dog barks. Great. I've come to realise that over the span of the year that we have been on YouTube, I've done approximately 3 reviews, which is not enough for a year. So I thought I'd review Wolf by Ryan Graudin, because I really enjoyed it. I gave this 5 stars, but looking back I'd probably give it about 4, but we're just going to stay with 5 because it's more positive, and I need all the positivity that I can get in this moment. Basically, this is a historical fiction book based in... Ooh, I can swing. It's like, if the Nazis won the war, it's 10 years after the World War. This is what the world is like with the Nazis in power, basically. It's a historical fiction following a girl named Yale. I can't pronounce her name, Yale. I always thought it was Yale in my head, that's how I've read it, but it's probably not pronounced like that. I'm not great with German. But yeah, and it's about her, and she's in the resistance, and she's trying to fight with the resistance, and their ultimate goal is to kill Hitler. How are they going to kill Hitler? Well, I don't take history, but from what I gathered, Hitler had like an alliance with Russia, and this is called the Axis, and to celebrate their win of the World War, they created the Axis Tour, which is a motorbike race around the main Axis locations, and there is a winner, like every year obviously, but no one has ever won the race twice in a row, and basically women aren't allowed to race, but one year there was this lady called Adele Wolf, and she posed as her brother Felix, and she won the race. And the idea is that if Yale, I don't even know, can impersonate this woman, Adele Wolf, and wins the race, she might be able to meet with Hitler at the winner's ball and kill him. Summary done. And I didn't fall out of the hammock. How does she intend to impersonate a lady that is now famous for winning this race and whatever, and her face is all over the news and everything? Well, this is where an aspect I wasn't really sure it would work in a book like this comes into play. And this isn't spoilers, I don't think, because if you look on the Amazon website, this is on the blurb still, so I'm not in dangerous territory yet. Basically, Yale, I'm going to say Yale from now on, she went under experimentation in Jewish concentration camps, which is kind of hard to read if you think about what it's about, but ultimately they portray it very well, I think. Anyway, she was a prisoner, and she was experimented on, which was the thing that actually happened in the war, so it was taken from fact. And they put kind of a supernatural element into it, and she developed the power to change into other people, which is kind of convenient if you think about it, for the story, but they did it in a way that it was relevant, you know? Because some books, you know, when the main protagonist just has powers for the sake of having powers, and there's no relevance, there's just whoa, look at these people with cool powers. It doesn't really mean anything. In this book it means something, so that's good stuff. I liked it because they had a lot of flashbacks to the war, and it was just quite exciting and stuff. Writing about something as sensitive as that is difficult, but it was done really well. And it was like a backstory of her, I should probably explain. She has, the reason it's called Wolf by Wolf is because she has, oh, there's a woodpecker on our bird feeder. Oh, it's gone now, sorry, let's get it off. But, there's a plane. If I fall out the hammock, don't laugh at me. Sorry? I said if I fall out the hammock, don't laugh at me. I've already done it twice. I like the hammock. I like it when I'm not falling out of it. Basically, she has 5 tattoos of wolves on her arm, and there is a backstory behind each one. Oh, the sun is out. Anyway, there are little chapters integrated throughout it, and it has little flashbacks to how she got each of these tattoos and what they mean, and it's really heartfelt. I really enjoyed these chapters. They're probably my favourite in the whole book, because I liked getting to know Yale, because I really liked her as a character. It's kind of hard not to, because you go through so much with her, which I think is important, because if you don't like the character, then there's no point in reading the book. It's a motorbike race, so you need to know the other races and who she's up against, and one of the main ones is called Lucalo, and the person she's impersonating, Adele, obviously has a history with this person. but obviously you don't know what it is because she's not Adele, and the amount of reports that she's had to analyse to impersonate her don't cover this history between them because no one else knows about it but them. So she has to pretend that she knows what he's going on about, which is quite dangerous if you think about it, because he is a how do you say it? He's a Nazi, basically. So to like go wrong for her would be bad. Would be very bad. She also has to try and get this past her brother Felix, who is the person that Adele impersonated the year before, but he wants to look out for his sister, because obviously he's a very good brother. So yeah, I just liked the sort of secrecy, special agent, undercover kind of element to it, which was cool. Do you like my setup?
Yeah.
It's bouncing against the flower pot. I think I'm gonna have to give up now with this review. I hope you enjoyed this, but I don't think I can do this anymore without falling out of the hammock, as much as I enjoyed this serene experience, as I'm sure you have. Overall, this book is amazing. I would definitely read it if you enjoy historical fiction, and like what if, like question type things, like what if the Nazis won the war? What if this happens? What if that happens? And there's really good character development in this, like in depth, where you get a little backstory. So if you really want a book where you can connect to the main characters, this is the book for you. It does drag in places, partly because it's a motorbike race, and it just like sometimes they're literally just riding on a motorbike for a couple of chapters, but once you get past that, it's fine. There's a lot of action going on, there's like a little few side stories. Thank you for the person that commented on my last video where I was talking about this book, and she said, oh, there is a bit of romance in this. I kind of expect that now from YA novels, because that's just a thing. In this book, it was unnecessary, I'm not going to lie. I did not like the romance, but once you got past it, it was okay, because it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I just enjoyed the fact that it was mostly towards the historical fiction, badass kind of thing, rather than the romance, which was a nice change from YA. So yes, there is romance in this. It's not a massive part of it, but it is annoying in places. But yeah, apart from that, I would read this again. I mean, you can see how many notes I did in this book. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this terrible review, but I hope you enjoyed watching me fall out of a hammock for 10 minutes. So yeah, like I said, I would highly recommend this book, and I will see you next week. Well, I won't because of exams, but oh yeah, thank you to everyone that wished me luck. So see you soon. Bye guys.